Hi, everyone, and welcome to Toka's Tech Tips. I am Thorkatla Ingvarsdottir, but please just call me Toka. I live in the West Kingdom. In my mundane life, I am a Google certified educator, which means that I have passed exams that show I am proficient in teaching and using Google Suites for Education, the Google platforms used in the education system currently. Toka's Tech Tips is all about breaking down the barriers to using technology in our game we love so much, the SCA. We put the Creative Anachronism in Society for Creative Anachronism. Since we've been exiled for the good of our realm, technology has played a key role in keeping our game alive. Between live streaming Pell work, virtual artisan displays, web shows, technology is forefront right now. But for some, we are not as comfortable using this technology, and that's a barrier to playing at the level we want to. This web series is all about breaking down those barriers and making sure everyone has the access they need to play in our virtual events. Now, my experience is with Google products. That is what I'm starting the web series with, is introducing our different Google platforms and how to use them in the SCA. I will branch out to other ones, so please let me know in the comments if there are certain products you'd like to hear more about or how we can use them in the SCA. Today, we're going to be talking about an introduction to Google Docs, just the basics and how to use it. Let's get started. First, let's go over to google.com to our starting page. I'm already signed into Toka's Tech Tips. Make sure you always check what account you are on. Otherwise, you're gonna have projects all over the place. Signed into Toka's Tech Tips. I'm going to go over to our waffle menu, the 9 dots in a square. It looks like if you pressed a waffle iron, that's what you would get. This is our quick access menu. I'm going to go over to our blue Google Docs, and this will take us to our generic docs.google.com. You can also navigate any of the Google products by starting with the name .google.com. Docs.google.com will take you to Google Docs. Slides.google.com will take you to Google Slides, and so forth. So here we have our option to create a blank document, or we have some templates. You can also look at some of the other templates for resumes and letters, etc. You can create your own template, whatever you'd like to do. I normally just use a blank document to get me started. It's the easiest. You will also see down below any Google Docs you have used on this account before, ones that have been shared with you or ones that you've opened or created yourself. It will all be located down here, and you can filter it by clicking on this arrow. If you want to see all of the Google Docs under this account, my Toka's Tech Tips does not have many Google Docs, but that's okay. You have the option of owned by anyone. That's all Google Docs under that account. Owned by me, so these are ones that you have created, or not owned by me. These are Google Docs that have been shared with you, but you were not the original owner. You did not create it. You can also click on the gray square that has the 3 dots and the lines for a list view. This will give you the name of the documents and not a picture. Or you can see a grid view of it. It's your preference, whatever works best for you. You can alphabetize or reverse alphabetize. By clicking on that, that will also, so I don't have many in here. It doesn't give you that option. These are last time you opened it. So last opened by me, last modified by me. So last time I changed it, but someone else might have opened it. Last modified, just the last time it was changed. And by the title, that will give you the reverse alphabet, or if you want just normal alphabet style, you have that option. You can also look for, if you know you have it saved somewhere else, you can open it using the open a file option. Now, let's get started on a generic Google Doc. We're going to click on the blank page. This is just going to take us to a blank Word document. Think about Microsoft Word 98. Pretty basic. Google is adding more features to it, but it's still a basic Word document. Now, I always recommend put a title first. That will allow you to auto save the page. If it does not have a title, you'll get a bunch of untitled documents to look for in your Google Drive, and that can get a little confusing. One of my favorite features is, let's just say let's do demo title. I'm going to put demo title. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to go up and put it center. If I go and click up here, because I have two words written here, boom, it will take the title of your document and put it up here. But you need to click on it for it to self-title. It won't do that automatically. Even if you have the demo title here and you leave the page, it will leave it as untitled. But put your title in, click up there, less work to do. The options next to the title, you could star it. So in your Google Drive, it will show up in the starred menu. It's like flagging the document if it's something you're going to be looking at often, like maybe your SCA resume or an ANS class handout you're working on. You can star it, and if you're like, all right, I taught the class, I'm done, you can unstar it, and it will just go back into your Google Drive. You can also move the folder. So I love to use folders on this account. I don't have many folders. I only have one right now. But you could say, I don't want this in my general Google Drive. I'm going to lose it. I want it in my graphics folder. You can click on graphics and click move. Or you can also click on the caret and look inside that folder, because you might have a folder inside a folder. We're going to go back. I don't want to move it into my graphics. That will confuse me. Now, this is also a very important button to look at. When you see a cloud with a check mark, that means that the document has been autosaved. One of my favorite features of Google platforms is the autosave function. You don't have to remember to press the save button. It will do it for you. And it's kicking me out. So that is a really nice benefit. Now, if I was to go and add more, we can see up here, it had a spinning icon that said saving. If it is clicking, that means maybe your internet isn't as fast, or it's just being a little slow to upload to the cloud. Don't click off of it. It will not save any information that hasn't been uploaded to the cloud yet. Make sure you always see that cloud with a check mark before you leave, just to be on the safe side. So otherwise, Google Docs has the basic functions. We have our file option where we can make a new one, make a new document. We can open a Word document in Google Doc. It will convert it for us. Some formatting issues might be a little bit changed, but for the most part, Word and Google Docs are compatible. You can make a copy. So I love this feature as well. It will take the document that is already written up on the page and duplicate it. Also, if your share settings are not set accordingly, or you are looking at someone else's Google Docs that you don't have access to edit, you can make a copy and you will then have rights to it. A copy of it, but it is a great way if you love someone's SCA resume, make a copy of it, then edit it for your information in your classes and your experience. A great way to quickly borrow templates. Just saying. You can email and download the documents. Again, the usual move. You can add a shortcut if you want it to be easier to access in Google Drive. You can also change the page setup. I use that more in Google Slides to change the page, but if you needed to print out something on legal paper, you can have the page set up that it will be according to those measurements. And you also have the ability to print it out, because sometimes we need paper copies of our ANS handouts at events. You can also, do your usual copy and paste under edit, or Control C, Control V, right click, those options. You can insert images, tables. I like tables because, again, it's very easy to set up. Maybe I use the table function for when I'm running lists. I can set up a very easy tracker, a turn tree. So table function's really great. I can also undo because I don't want that there, and I'm going to erase that because that was bothering me. You can also insert a drawing, so you can create an image to insert. Here, I am not an artist, but you can use the drawing, or we have our line features, create a little drawing, you can save and it will insert it. There we go. We have my lovely Toka's artwork here of I don't know what, but it is an available feature if you are more artistic than Toka is. You can also put in a chart, which if you are an exchequer might be useful, or if you're presenting something to your local group and you want it in a chart, you can create one here. You can also export it from Google Sheets. Please wait for my next Google Sheets class on how to use Google Sheets. Thank you. You can add in footnotes, or if you're dividing up sections, you can put in a horizontal line very easily. You also have the ability to insert special characters without using alt codes, which is very nice since a lot of us have special symbols used in our name. You can use the appropriate ones, even if you are not using an Arabic font. There are other languages available to actually put in your correct name or how it is written out in your region or culture. There's also the ability for spelling and grammar. You can do spell check. Word count is great. If you're writing an essay for an ANS submission and you need it to be a certain length, there's always the page count. There's only one page here, but it will show up, 2 of 2, 1 of 2, etc. You can also voice type. So if you are not as experienced typing or it's slow, you have arthritis, you can use voice typing. Please, click to speak. Please type on, there we go. We have the word please. I don't use the voice typing feature as much, so please bear with me. I apologize. But you can use voice to text, which is really nice when you ramble a lot and you don't type as fast as you talk. It's a very useful feature. You can also add on other add-ons. That was not supposed to be so punny. I really like the bibliography. There is Easy Bib. I use that for my bibliographies. And it will help format it for you. There are many different cool extensions. DocuSign is great DocuSign and DocuHub are really great if you're signing documents. Maybe you're a seneschal and you need to send out new warrants. DocuSign and DocuHub will be your best friends. It makes very pretty PDFs where you can also sign with your hand, and they are legitimate legal documents for the most part. Double check where you're submitting it that is acceptable. So that is the basics of Google Docs. Otherwise, there's just the normal formatting, bold, italicized. You can add in a link so you could hyperlink to another ANS handout, adding images, formatting. You can also change the text. It comes with generic text, or you can click on more fonts and look through some of the lesser known ones, search for them. I recommend if you're looking for a particular type of font, Googling, Viking font, Greco-Roman font, Fire font, and finding the name, because it's easier than looking through all of these, or you could just kind of guess and play around. But when you click on it, it will then add it to your list. Click OK, and you now have it available to you. One issue with Google Fonts is you are not able to upload your own Google font. That is a special feature that Microsoft products have, that you can import fonts. Google Fonts does not have that available yet. And before we jump into uses of Google Docs in the SCA, the most important feature, the share feature. I cannot emphasize this enough. Always double check your share settings because you have three options. You either have it restricted where only you can read it, that someone can comment on it, or that someone else can view it, and that someone else can edit it. So double check your share settings. That is my PSA for that. So it will be a big blue button for Google Docs. Right now, when you hover over it, it says private to only me. There is a lock there. So our brain goes, oh, I'm the only person who will have access to it. No one else will be able to view it. If you want only one other person to view it, you can add that person. Let's just say I want my West Kingdom account to be able to access it, but no one else. I would send it to their Gmail account, and then I can choose, can they view it, comment on it, or be an editor? So again, when you are sharing the document with someone else, make sure your share settings are according to how you want them to interact with the document. But you can also send a message saying, hey, add to the document, let's collaborate on this ANS class. Shoot it off to them, they'll get an email. I don't want to do that with my West Kingdom account. I just want everyone to be able to view it. So right now it says restricted, only people added can open with this link. I'm going to click and change this to anyone with the link. There will now be a globe emblem next to it so that anyone who I give this link to, where I can just boom, copy the link, paste it into an email, anyone who clicks on that link can view it. Now for our West Kingdom accounts, there will also be a middle option that will only allow people signed into their westkingdom.org accounts to be able to view it, which is a good option if you're teaching a class in the West Kingdom and you don't want this out on the general web, but you don't want everyone to see it. You don't want people keep clicking, request access, but that also eliminates anyone not signed into their westkingdom.org or anyone outside of the kingdom. So use as you will. Right now, we have it set to anyone with the link can view it. We can also click and change that to anyone with the link can comment on it, or anyone with the link can edit. If you have it set to editor, that means anyone who clicks on that document can change it. Someone else can come in and go, I think that's really ugly artwork, Toka, goodbye. And they have full editing rights. So make sure you have it set accordingly. If you don't want people deleting your resume, don't allow anyone with the link to edit. Just allow them to view it. And then it would pop up and it will say view only. That also won't prevent people from making a copy. So that means if you have some super secret template for your fighting video format, you probably don't want to have that set because then anyone can go in and click make a copy and have your super secret recipe for your cooking class. So keep that in mind as well. We now have it set so that anyone with the link can view it. So there is a person with a link and it says public on the web. That is the basics of Google Docs. Now, some uses for Google Docs in the SCA. I have my SCA resume pulled up. I have my full title in the title. And I also put last time it was updated. So then I know, okay, I updated this in January 2021. So I know it's the most up to date. Or I can come back in a couple of months and go, oh, I've taught more classes since then. I need to update that. So it lets me know last time it's been updated. I have my name. I have a picture that needs to be updated. That's an older picture. My device, offices I've held, work at events. I do a lot of ANS, so I also have classes and workshops listed, as well as how often I've taught them. There's a couple of classes I've taught multiple times. I have that noted as well, that it has been taught multiple times. I have other service in the form of the arts and sciences from doing a lot of virtual events. I've ran artisan displays. I have that listed as well. and then the awards that I have won, the important awards to me, I have those highlighted. So an SCA resume is a really great use of a Google Doc. I have it set that anyone on the web can view it, but not edit it. I can easily put it into artisan displays and other I have it on our West Kingdom Who's Who, so anyone who's curious about me can check out my resume. I also am a tablet weaver, so I have my tablet weaving notebook, The Trials and Tribulations of Toka. A picture from weaving at West Ontario War. I still need to put in a tables of contents to easily click to the different bands that I have woven. I have not done that yet. It is possible to do. I've just been lazy. I have pictures, patterns, details about how wide, what colors I use. And as I've learned through each band, I have little notes about working through problems, things I'm not going to do again, aha moments, issues that have arisen. So next time I don't duplicate them. Extant bands if I'm doing a historical band, and it's all easy to update. Again, I can take this link, put it into my artisan display, and it is a live document for anyone to view, and I can easily update it. I can also pull it up on my phone at events if I need to quickly reference it, or use it on my tablet at artisan displays so people can flip through. Those are just a couple of uses of Google Docs in the SCA. Hold tight for our video about using Google Docs in the SCA. That was just a little teaser. Again, if you have any questions about Google Docs, Google Platforms, or other technology in the SCA, feel free to send me an email at tokaschecktips@gmail.com. And as usual, I would also love to know who you are, where you are from. Send me a message in the comments or an email on the previous screen at tokaschecktips@gmail.com. And I hope to see you for our next video. Bye, everyone.